SAT-3, question 1. A painter will paint n walls with the same size and shape in a building using a specific brand of paint. The painter's fee can be calculated by the expression NKLH. While n is the number of walls, k is a constant with units of dollars per square foot. L is the length of each wall in feet, and H is the height of each wall in feet. If the customer asks the painter to use a more expensive brand of paint, which of the factors in the expression will change? From the expression, the price equals n times k times L times H, and A represented the number of walls need to be painted, and L represented the length of the wall, and H represented the height of the wall. So the only one variable might be changed is k. According to the question, k is a constant with units of dollars per square root. So we can imagine if the painter decide to use a more expensive brand of paint, the k probably will the k definitely will change, will increase. So we should choose option C, question 1. Question 3, which of the following is equal to a to the power of 2/3 for all values of a? The formula for the rational exponent is a to the power of m over n equals the nth root of a to the power of m. So by using this formula, a to the power of 2/3 should be equal to the cube root of a squared. So we should choose option D, question 3. Question 2, if 3r equals 18, what is the value of 6r plus 3? 3r equals 18, then 6r should be equal to 36. And the 6r plus 3 should be equal to 36 plus 3, which is 39. We should choose option D, question 2. Question 4. The number of states that joined the United States between 1776 and 1849 is twice the number of states that joined between 1850 and 1900. If 30 states joined the United States between 1776 and 1849, and X states joined between 1850 and 1900, which of the following equations is true? So we can use A to represent the number of states that joined the United States between 1776 and 1849, and use the letter B to represent the number of states that joined between 1850 and 1900. And according to the first sentence, the relationship between A and B is A equals 2B. And the next sentence tells us if 36 states joined the United States between 1776 and 1849, which means A equals 30. And X states joined between 1850 and 1900. So we can have our expression. So 30 should be equal to 2 times X. X represent the number of states joined between 1850 and 1900. So we should choose option B, 2x equals 30. Question 5, if 5 over x equals 15 over x plus 20, what is the value of x over 5? By using the cross product rule, we have 5 times x plus 20 equals 15x. So 5x plus 100 equals 15x. and 10x should be equal to 100. X equals 10. Therefore, the value of x over 5 should be equal to 10 over 5 equals 2. So question 5, we should choose option C. Question 7, the function f is defined by a polynomial. Some values of x and f of x are shown in the table above. Which of the following must be a factor of f of x? Question 7 is testing us about knowledge of factor theorem. According to the factor theorem, x minus k is a factor of f of x if and only if one f of k equals 0. From the table above, we can tell f of 4 equals 0, which means x minus 4 is a factor of function f of x. So we should choose option C. Question 6, 2x minus 3y equals negative 14. 3x minus 2y equals negative 6. If x and y is a solution to the system of equations above, what is the value of x minus y? We called first equation as 1. We called second equation as 2. If we add that two equation, we get 5x minus 5y equals negative 6 plus negative 14. We get negative 20. So x minus y should be equal to negative 20 divided by 5, which is negative 4. So question 6, we should choose option C. Question 8, the line y equals kx plus 4, where k is a constant, is graphed in the xy plane. If the line contains the point C and D, where C is not equal to 0 and D is not equal to 0, what is the slope of the line in terms of C and D? From the given condition, we know the point C and D is on the line. So we just need to plug in the coordinates of the point. Then we can get D equals C times K plus 4. So CK should be equal to D minus 4. K should be equal to D minus 4 divided by C. So we should choose option A. Question 9, kx minus 3y equals 4. 4x minus 5y equals 7. In the system of equations above, k is a constant and x, y are variables. For what value of k will the system of equations have no solution? We know when the two equations represent two parallel lines, there is no solution, which means the slopes of that two equations are equal. So we have a proportion k over 4 equals negative 3 over negative 5, which means the slopes of that two equations are equal. Then we just need to solve this proportion and find the value of k. So negative 5k equals negative 12, and k is equal to 12 over 5. So question 9, we should choose option A. Question 11. In the figure above, lines K, L, and M intersect at a point. If x plus y equals u plus w, which of the following must be true? From given information, x plus y equals u plus w, and y equals u, because y and u are vertical angles. So x should be equal to w. And because the x and t are a pair of vertical angles, so x also should be equal to t. And w and z are also a pair of vertical angles, so w should be equal to z. Therefore, the four angles x, w, t, z are all equal. I use the blue color to mark it. Then y and u are a pair of vertical angles. Therefore, y also equals u. So question, the first conclusion, x equals z. So from the process we just did, x equals z is correct. Second, y equals w. Y is here, and w is here. We just know that we just proved that 4 blue angles are equal and 2 red angles are equal. But y and w, they are equal or not, we are not sure. So 2 is not sure. Continue. The third conclusion, z equals t. And z and t, they are blue angles. We already proved they are equal. So the first one and the third one, they are correct. And the second one, we are not sure. So question 11, we should choose option B. Question 10. In the xy plane, the parabola with equation y equals x minus 11 in parentheses squared intersects the line with equation y equals 25 at 2 points A and B. What is the length of line segment AB? To find the intercept of two equations, we need to find the solution of the system of equations. So now we try to find the solution of the system equations. So 25 equals x minus 11 squared, and x minus 11 is equal to 5, or x11 equal to -5. Therefore, x1 is 16 and x2 is 6, which means the coordinates of that 2 points A and B is A 16 and 5 and B is 6 and 5. Oh, 25, sorry. The y coordinate is 25. Continue. What is the length of line segment AB? Because the y coordinates of the points A and B are the same, so it's very easy to find the length of line segment AB. We just need to find the difference of their x coordinates. So it is 16 minus 6 is 10. So question 10, we should choose option A. Question 12. In the quadratic equation above, A is a non-zero constant. The graph of the equation in the xy plane is a parabola with vertex C and D. Which of the following is equal to D? I graphed the quadratic equation above. So this is x axis and this is y axis, and because the two intercepts, I use A and B to represent that two intercepts. or x-intercepts. And from the equation is written in the form in the intercepts form. So we can read the intercepts from the equation directly. One is x equals 2, another one is x equals -4. So the two intercepts, we know the vertex, we know the coordinates. One is 2, 0, another one is -4 and 0. But because we don't know a is greater than 0 or less than 0, so we are still not sure if the parabola open up or open down. So I draw two possibilities. One is in blue, one a is greater than 0, and one is in red, one a is less than 0. From the graph, we can tell x equals -1 is the midline of two intercepts. How to find the value x equals -1? We should use the midpoint formula. C equals 2 plus -4 divided by 2. We get the midline is x equals -1. The question is, which of the following is equal to D? And they give us the vertex coordinates C and D. So we just need to plug in the vertex coordinates. And since we already know the value of C is -1, so we plug in C equals -1, we get D equals A times -1 minus 2 times -1 plus 4, which is -3 and 3. The final answer is D equals -A. So we should choose option A, question 12. Question 13, the equation is true for all values of x. Is not equal to 2 over a, where a is a constant. What is the value of a? So this is a very complicated equation. So first we try to solve this equation. We multiply both sides by the common denominator ax minus 2. That is our first step. We see what we can get. So after multiply by ax minus 2, the left becomes 24x squared plus 25x minus 47. And the right side becomes -4x minus 3 times ax minus 2 minus 53. The next step, we simplify each side. The right side, there is two binomials. We multiply that the two binomials. We get -ax squared minus 3ax plus 16x plus 6 and minus 53. Then simplify the right side. We get -8ax squared plus, in parentheses, -3a plus 16x and minus 47. Okay, now we see the last equation. After we observe the equation, I think we should be able to recognize that only when the coefficients of both sides are equal, correspondingly, the equation is true for all values of x. So 24 should be equal to -8a, and 25, which is the coefficient of x, should be equal to -3a plus 16. there is also a coefficient of x on the right side. Only when that two conditions are satisfied, the whole equation can be true for all values of x. After we solve that two equations, we get a equals -3. So question 13, we should choose option B, -3. Another thing we should pay attention to is they give our a precondition. X can't be equal to 2 over a. The reason of it is when x equals 2 over a, the denominator will become 0. Then the whole fraction will be undefined. That's why they give us this precondition. X can't be equal to 2 over a. Question 14. What are the solution to 3x squared plus 12x plus 6 equals 0? To find the solutions of a quadratic equation, normally the first step is to simplify the quadratic equation. So after factoring 3 out of the equation, we get x squared plus 4x plus 2 equals 0. Then we use the quadratic formula to find the value of x. So x equals 2 times 1. The denominator is 2 times 1, and the numerator is -4 plus minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2. The formula I write here, the quadratic formula equals okay, continue. So the radicand is 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2, which is 8. Then we can simplify this radicand. We get 2 times the square root of 2. We simplify this expression further, then we can get the x equals -2 plus minus square root of 2. So we should choose option A. Question 15. C equals 5 over 9 times in parentheses F minus 32. The equation above shows how a temperature F measured in degrees Fahrenheit relates to a temperature C measured in degrees Celsius. Based on the equation, which of the following must be true? So from the equation above, we can tell the slope of the equation is equal to 5 over 9. The slope, also known as the rate of change, which means in our example, when our F increase or change 1 unit, correspondingly, C will increase or change 5 over 9 units. Therefore, the first statement, a temperature increase of 1 degree Fahrenheit is equivalent to a temperature increase of 5 degrees Celsius, is correct. Second statement, a temperature increase of 1 degree Celsius is equivalent to a temperature increase of 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit. If we rewrite the equation above as a f function in terms of c, so we get 9 over 5 times c equals f minus 32. Therefore, f equals 9 over 5 times c plus 32. So in the second equation, the slope of the equation is equal to 9 over 5, which means the rate of change is 9 over 5. So when C increase 1 degree, the F correspondingly will increase 9/5 degree. So we should choose, so the statement 2 is correct. 9/5 is equal to 1.8. The last statement, a temperature increase of 5/9 degree Fahrenheit is equivalent to a temperature increase 1 degree Celsius. So statement 3 is not correct. So we should choose option D, question 15. Question 16. X cubed times in parentheses x squared minus 5 equals negative 4x. If x is greater than 0, what is one possible solution to the equation above? So first, use distributive property. We get x to the power of 5 minus 5x cubed equals negative 4x. The second step, move the negative 4x to the left and flip the sign. We get x to the power of 5 minus 5x cubed plus 4x equals 0. The next step, factor an x out of the expression, we get x times in parentheses x to the power of 4 minus 5x squared plus 4 equals 0. The next step, we factor the trinomial in the parentheses into the product of two binomials. Then we get x times in parentheses x squared minus 1 times in parentheses x squared minus 4 equals 0. According to the zero product rule, x equals 0 or x squared minus 1 equals 0 or x squared minus 4 equals 0. Then we solve for different x. So first one, x equals 0. And second one, x squared minus 1 equals 0, which means x equals plus minus 1. And the third is x squared minus 4 equals 0, and the x should be equal to plus minus 2. Don't forget, we have a precondition. X is greater than 0. So because x is greater than 0, so there are two possible solutions. One is x equals 1. Another one is x equals 2. Next question, 17. If 7 nines x minus 4 nines x equals 1/4 plus 5/12. Combine the like terms first. We get 3/9x equals 3/12 plus 5/12. 1/4 equals 3/12. The common denominator is 12. And 3/12 plus 5/12 is 8/12. And 3/9x equals 8/12. Then simplify both sides. We get 1/3 x equals 2/3. Therefore, x equals 2. Question 18. Two isosceles triangles are shown above. If 180 minus z equals 2y and y equals 75, what is the value of x? Because y equals 75, and the relationship between y and z is 180 minus z equals 2y, so we can substitute 75 for y and solve this equation to find the value of z. So 180 minus z equals 2 times 75, which is 150. So z equals 30. And so here we see the isosceles triangle. So the vertical angle is 30 degrees. And I marked that two base angles. And we set the measure of that two marked angles equal to m degrees. Therefore, 30 plus 2m plus 30 plus 2m equals 180. So 2m equals 150 and m equals 75. Because the marked angles and the x degree angles, they are supplementary angles. Therefore, x should be equal to 180 minus 75, which is 105. So the value of x is 105, question 18. Question 19. At a lunch stand, each hamburger has 50 more calories than each order of fries. If 2 hamburgers and 3 orders of fries have a total of 1700 calories, how many calories does a hamburger have? We can set the calories of each order of fries equal to x. And from the given information, the calories of each hamburger should be equal to x plus 50. And the 2 hamburgers, the total calorie should be equal to 2 times x plus 50. And 3 orders of fries, the total calorie should be equal to 3x. And add them together should be equal to 1700 calories in total. And solve this equation and find the value of x. And 2x plus 100 plus 3x equals 1700. And combined like terms, 5x equals 1600. So x equals 320 calories. And the 320 calories is the calories of each order of fries. But the question is, how many calories does a hamburger have? And x plus 50. We use x plus 50 to represent the calories of each hamburger. So x plus 50 equals 320 plus 50 equals 370. So question 19. Each hamburger has 370 calories. Question 20. In triangle ABC, the measure of angle B is 90 degrees. BC is 16 and AC is 20. Triangle DEF is similar to triangle ABC, where vertices DEF correspond to vertices ABC respectively. So I sketched 2 right triangle. One is ABC, another one is DEF. And by the given information, AC equals 20, BC equals 16. According to the Pythagorean theorems, AB squared plus BC squared should be equal to AC squared. Therefore, AB equals the square root of AC square root minus AC squared minus BC squared. Plug in the given information. AC equals 20, BC equals 16. So AB equals the square root of 20 squared minus 16 squared, which is 12. So the length of AB is 12. Another way to find the value of AB is easier. So we see AC equals 20, BC equals 16. And I think we can tell AC 20 equals 4 times 5. And 16 equals 4 times 4. Now we know triangle ABC is just an enlarged 3, 4, 5 right triangle. So AB should be equal to 4 times 3. So 4 times 5, 4 times 4, 4 times 3. Therefore, AB equals 12. This is an easier way to find the value of AB. Continue. Because the triangle DEF is similar to triangle ABC, and they give us the scale factor is 1/3. Each side of the triangle DF is 1/3 of the length of the corresponding side of triangle ABC. The question is, what is the value of sine F? Because triangle DEF and the triangle ABC, they are similar figures. Therefore, the corresponding angles are congruent. So angle F and angle C, they are a pair of congruent angles. So angle F is congruent to angle C. Therefore, sine F should be equal to sine C, which is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. The angle C, the opposite side is AB. The hypotenuse is AC. Then plug in the given information. AB equals 12, AC equals 20, and simplified. We get sine C equals 3/5. The graph above shows Marilyn's distance from her campsite during a 3-hour hike. She stopped for 30 minutes during her hike to have lunch. Based on the graph, which of the following is closest to the time she finished lunch and continued her hike? From the graph above, we can tell during the time from A to B, the graph stay constant, which means during that 30 minutes, she stopped for lunch. And the point A represented the time that she stopped and began her lunch. And the point B represented the time she finished lunch and continued her hike. So we should choose option C, because the x-coordinate of B is about 1:40 p.m. Next question. The table above shows the distribution of age and gender for 25 people who entered a contest. If the contest winner will be selected at random, what is the probability that the winner will be either a female under age 40 or a male age 40 or older? We use A to represent the event that a female under age 40 is selected. We use B to represent the event that a male age 40 or older is selected. So the probability of B or of A or B should be equal to P of A plus P of B. Because event A and event B are mutual exclusive events. Now we just need to find the probability of event A and add probability of event B. Probability of event A is female under age 40, which is 8. And the total number is 25. So the probability of event A is 8 divided by 25. The probability of event B, which is a male age 40 or older being selected, and the male 40 or older is 2. And the total number is 25. So the probability of event B is 2 divided by 25. And add them together, we get 10 over 25. We should choose option B. The graph below shows the total number of music album sales in millions each year from 1997 through 2009. Based on the graph, which of the following best describes the general trend in music album sales from 1997 through 2009? So I labeled every year on the x-axis, so which began from 1997 to 2009. Then we can clearly say the trend of the graph. So from the graph, we can tell the sales increase from 1997 to 2000. Then generally reduce from 2000 to 2009. So we should choose option C. Sales increased until 2000 and then generally decreased. Next question. At Lincoln High School, approximately 7% of enrolled juniors and 5% of the enrolled seniors were inducted into the National Honor Society last year. If there were 562 juniors and 602 seniors enrolled at Lincoln High School last year, which of the following is the closest to the total number of juniors and seniors at Lincoln High School last year who were inducted into the National Honor Society? From the given information, there were 562 juniors last year, and 7% of them were enrolled into the National Honor Society. So 762 times 562 times 7% is the number of students or the number of the juniors that were inducted into the National Honor Society. And there were 602 seniors enrolled at Lincoln High School last year, and 5% of enrolled seniors were inducted into the National Honor Society. Therefore, there should be 602 times 5% juniors were inducted into National Honor Society. And we do the calculation. The first one is 39.34, and the second one is 30.1. Because the number of people can't be a decimal, so we choose 39 and 30, and add them together is 69. So we should choose option B. Question 4. The table above shows some values of the linear function f. Which of the following defines f? From the table above, we can find the value of the slope of the linear equation. Because the slope, also known as the rate of change, is equal to, we choose that first two points is 1 minus -2, which represent the change in y, and 2 minus 1, which is the change in x. Then we find that the rate of change is 3, which means whenever n increase 1 unit, f of n increase 3 units. And in that 4 options, only option C, the slope is 3. So we should choose option C. Next question. 3x squared minus 5x plus 2 and 5x minus 2x minus 6. Which of the following is the sum of the two polynomials shown above? Question 6 is a very easy question. So we do the addition. We combine the like terms. 3x squared plus 5x squared equals 8x squared. Negative 5x plus negative 2x is negative 7x. 2 plus negative 6 is negative 4. So we should choose option C. Question 7. If 3/5 W equals 4/3, what is the value of W? We multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 3/5. Then we can get W equals 4/3 times 5/3, which is 20/9. We should choose option A, question 7. Next question. Nate walks 25 meters in 13.7 seconds. If he walks at this same rate, which of the following is closest to the distance he will walk in 4 minutes? The velocity formula is v equals s divided by t. And s represents the distance and the t represents the time. And from the first sentence, we know Nate walks 25 meters in 13.7 seconds. So velocity equals 25 meters divided by 13.7 seconds, which is about 1.8 meters per second. And the question is, if he walks at the same rate, which of following is the closest to the distance when he walk in 4 minutes? We still need to use the same formula. So S equals V times T. And V we already know, which is 1.8 meters per second. And T is 4 minutes. We should notice that the time 4 minutes is the units is not the same as the Question 9. Nate walks 25 meters in 13.7 seconds. If he walks at this same rate, which of the following is closest to the distance he will walk in 4 minutes? We need to use the velocity formula. V equals x divided by t. From the given information, the distance is 25 meters and the time is 13.7 seconds. Then we have the velocity 1.8 meters per second. The question is, if he walks at the same rate, which of the following is the closest to the distance he will walk in 4 minutes? We need to use the formula again. S equals v times t. And we already know the velocity is 1.8 meters per second. But we should notice that the units are different here. The first one is second, the second one is minute. So we need to convert 4 minutes into seconds. So 4 times 60 equals 240 seconds. So we use 1.8 meters per second times 240 seconds and do it on the calculator. We get 432 meters. The option B is the closest number. Question 8. The average number of students per classroom at Central High School from 2000 to 2010 can be modeled by the equation y equals 0.56x plus 27.2, where x represents the number of years since 2000 and y represents the average number of students per classroom. Which of the following best describes the meaning of the number 0.56 in the equation? So from the equation, we can find the slope of this linear equation is 0.56. And the slope, also known as rate of change, which means in our case, whenever x increase 1 unit, y will increase correspondingly 0.56 unit. So we should choose option C. The estimated increase in the average number of students per classroom each year. Questions 10 and 11 refer to the following information. The chart above shows approximations of the acceleration due to gravity in meters per second squared for the 8 planets in our solar system. The weight of an object on a given planet can be found by using the formula W equals mg, where W is the weight of the object measured in newtons. M is the mass of the object measured in kilograms, and G is the acceleration due to gravity on the planet measured in meters per second squared. So first, question 10. What is the weight in newtons of an object on Mercury with a mass of 90 kilograms? We need to use the formula given by the question. W equals mg. And m is 90 kilograms in question 10. And the planet is Mercury. And from the table, we can tell the acceleration on the Mercury planet is 3.6. So 90 times 3.6 is 324. So question 10, we should choose option D. Question 11. An object on Earth has a weight of 100 newtons. On which planet would the same object have an approximate weight of 170 newtons? We need to use the formula again, W equals mg. And we rearrange the formula, we can have another formula for m. And m equals W divided by g. And the weight given by the information is 150 newtons. I skipped the unit here. And the object is on Earth, and the acceleration on Earth is 9.8. So 150 divided by 9.8 is 15.31 kilograms. Continue. On which planet would the same subject have an approximate weight of 170 newtons? We need to use the formula again. And rearrange the formula, we have G equals W divided by M. So the question is 170 newtons. And the mass we already know, which is 15.31. And after the calculation, we get G equals 11.1. And after we check the table given by the question, 11.1 is Saturn planet. So we should choose option B. Question 12. If the function f has 5 distinct zeros, which of the following could represent the complete graph of f in the xy plane? Option A. There are 4 distinct zeros. And option B, there are 4 distinct zeros. And option C, there are 6 distinct zeros. And option D, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 distinct zeros. So we should choose option D. Question 14. The cost of using a telephone in a hotel meeting room is $0.2 per minute. Which of the following equations represent the total cost C in dollars for each hours of phone use? So the rate is $0.2 per minute. And the formula to find the total cost is C equals rate times T. And the rate we already know, $0.2 per minute. But the question is, which of the following equation represents the total cost in dollars for each hours? We should notice that the units are different. One is minute, the other is hours. So first we need to convert each hours into minute. So each hours equals h times 60 minutes, which is 60h minutes. Then we can plug 60h into our formula. We get 0.2 times 60h dollars. So we should choose option A. Question 3. H equals negative 16t squared plus bt plus k. The equation above gives the height h in feet of a ball t seconds after it is thrown straight up with an initial speed of v feet per second from a height of k feet. Which of the following gives v in terms of h, t, and k? We need to rearrange the equation. First, move negative 16t squared and k to the left side and flip the sign. So now left side is h plus 16t squared minus k equals kt equals vt. Continue. The second step, we should divide both sides by t. Then the left side becomes h plus 16t squared minus k divided by t. Continue. We divided this fraction into two fractions. So h minus k divided by t plus 16t squared divided by t. Then simplified, we get v equals h minus k divided by t plus 16t. So we should choose option D. Question 15. In order to determine if treatment X is successful in improving eyesight, a research study was conducted. From a large population of people with poor eyesight, 300 participants were selected at random. Half of the participants were randomly assigned to receive treatment X, and the other half did not receive treatment X. The resulting data showed that participants who received treatment X had significantly improved eyesight as compared to those who did not receive treatment X. Based on the design and the result of the study, which of the following is an appropriate conclusion? For option A, treatment X is likely to improve the eyesight of people who have poor eyesight. From the resulting data, we can see statement A is accurate. Option B, treatment X improves eyesight better than all other available treatments. About option B, we are not sure because there is no other survey to being done. Question 15. In order to determine if treatment X is successful in improving eyesight, a research study was conducted. From a large population of people with poor eyesight, 300 participants were selected at random. Half of the participants were randomly assigned to receive treatment X, and the other half did not receive treatment X. The resulting data showed that participants who received treatment X had significantly improved eyesight as compared to those who did not receive treatment X. Based on the design and results of the study, which of the following is an appropriate conclusion? Option A, treatment X is likely to improve the eyesight of people who have poor eyesight. So option A is an accurate statement. Option B, treatment X improves eyesight better than all other available treatment. There is no survey on other treatment. So option B, that conclusion, we can't get that conclusion from the given information. So we can't see treatment X is better than all other available treatments. Option C, treatment X will improve the eyesight of anyone who takes it. From the resulting data, we only know participants who received treatment X had significantly improved eyesight as compared to those who did not receive treatment X. It's a comparison. We even can't see everyone in group 1 who received treatment X had improved eyesight. So option C is not an accurate conclusion. Option D, treatment X will cause a substantial improvement in eyesight. Again, there are only 300 participants, so the sample is still very small compared to all the people on Earth. So the option D is not an accurate conclusion. The sample is not big enough to prove treatment X will cause a substantial improvement in eyesight for everyone. Graphs of the function f and g are shown in the xy plane above. For which of the following values of x does f of x plus g of x equals 0? From the graph above, we can read f of -3 is equal to -1. And g of -3 is also equal to -1. And -1 plus -1 is not equal to 0, so we eliminate option A. Option B, f of -2 equals -2, and g of -2 equals 2, and -2 plus 2 equals 0, so we should choose option B. Option C, f of -1 equals -1, and g of -1 equals -1. -1 plus -1 is not equal to 0, so option C is not correct. Option D, f of 0 equals +2, and g of 0 equals -9. So 2 plus -9 is not equal to 0, so option D is not correct. So we should choose option B. Question 17 and 18 refer to the following information. S of P equals 1/2 P plus 40. D of P equals 220 minus P. The quantity of a product supplied and the quantity of the product demanded in an economic market are functions of the price of the product. The functions above are the estimated supply and the demand function for a certain product. The function S of P gives the quantity of the product supplied to the market when the price is $P, and the function D of P gives the quantity of the product demanded by the market when the price is $P. Question 17. How will the quantity of the product supplied to the market change if the price of the product is increased by $10? So from the first equation, that is the supply function. So S of T equals 1/2 times P plus 40. So the slope of the equation is 1/2. And the slope, also known as the rate of change, which means whenever P increase 1 unit, correspondingly S of P will increase 1/2 unit. And the question is, the price of product is increased by $10, which means P increased 10 units, and F of P should increase correspondingly 10 times 1/2, which is equal to 5. So we should choose option B. The quantity supplied will increase by 5 units. Question 18. At what price will the quantity of the product supplied to the market equal the quantity of the product demanded by the market? Question 18 is very easy. We just need to set S of P equals D of P. And S of P equals 1/2 P plus 40, and 200. D of P equals 220 minus P. Then solve this equation. 3/2P equals 180. So P equals 180 times 2/3, which is $120. So question 18, we should choose option B. When the price is 120, the quantity of the product supplied to the market equal the quantity of the product demanded by the market. Question 19. Graphing, which is used in the manufacture of integrated circuits, is so thin that a sheet weighing 1 ounce can cover up to 7 football fields. If a football field has an area of approximately 1 1/3 acres, about how many acres could 48 ounces of graphene cover? So 1 ounce of graphene can cover 7 football fields. And the 1 football field is 1 1/3 acres. So 7 football fields should be equal to 7 times 1 and 1/3 acres. And 7 football fields is 1 ounce. So 48 ounces of graphene should cover 48 times 7 times 1 and 1/3 acres. And we do the calculation, 48 times 4/3 times 7 is 448. So option C is the closest number. Question 19, we can use proportion to find the number of acres 48 ounces of graphene cover. So if we write in proportion, we can have 1 ounce, it cover 7 football fields. And the 1 football field is 1 and 1/3 acres. So 7 football fields is 7 times 1 and 1/3 acres. And so 48 ounces should cover X acres. And so we use proportion 1/48 equals 7 times 1 and 1/3 over X. To find the value of X should be equal to 48 times 7 times 1 and 1/3. And the value is 448 after calculation. So the answer is still the same. Question 24. Mr. Cole has a beaker containing n milliliters of solution to distribute to the students in his chemistry class. If he gives each student 3 milliliters of solution, he will have 5 milliliters left over. In order to give each student 4 milliliters of solution, he will need an additional 21 milliliters. How many students are in the class? We use X to represent the number of students in the class. And from the given information, if he gives each student 3 milliliters of solution, he will have 5 milliliters left over. If we want to use expression to represent the total amount of milliliters of solution, we should use 3x plus 5 because each student 3 milliliters. So X student should be 3x milliliters, but also inside it will have 5 milliliters left over. So we need to add 5 to 3x and it equals the n milliliters. Continue. In order to give each student 4 milliliters of solution, he will need an additional 21 milliliters. So each student 4 milliliters, X students 4x milliliters, but he needs another 21 milliliters. So it's like it's not enough to be distributed to X students. So for X should minus 21, then it can be equal to the n milliliters, the total amount of solution. Then we just need to solve the equation. 3x plus 5 equals 4x minus 21. So X should be equal to 5 plus 21, which is 26. We should choose option D, 24. Question 26. In the xy plane, the line determined by the points 2 and k and 32 passes through the origin. Which of the following could be the value of k? Because the line passes through the origin, so we know the equation should be in the form y equals mx, because the y-intercept is 0. So b is 0. And as we know, the line passes through 2 points, and one point is 2k, another point is k32. So we should plug in the 2 points. So the first one, k equals m times 2. And the second one, 32 is the y coordinate, and k is the x coordinate. So 32 equals m times k. From the first equation, we can have m equals k divided by 2. And from the second equation, we can have m equals 32 divided by k. And because m is equal to m, so k over 2 should be equal to 32 over k. So then we just need to solve this proportion, and k squared should be equal to 64, and k should be equal to plus minus 8. So we should choose option C. Question 28. In planning maintenance for a city's infrastructure, a civil engineer estimates that starting from the present, the population of the city will decrease by 10% every 20 years. If the present population of city is 50,000, which of the following expressions represents the engineer's estimate of the population of the city 10 years from now? So from the question, we know the population will decrease 10% every 20 years. And we use t to represent the years from now. So we need to know how many 20 years in t years. So we should use t divided by 20. So this expression represents how many 20 years in t years. And it decreases by 10%, which means 1 minus 10%. So the equation should be like this. I use P to represent the population of the city after t years. So P equals the original population, 50,000, times 1 minus 10% to the power of t divided by 20. So after simplify it, P equals 50,000 times 0.9 to the power of t over 20. So we should choose option D. Question 27. A rectangle was altered by increasing its length by 10% and decreasing its width by p%. If these alterations decrease the area of the rectangle by 12%, what is the value of p? I graphed 2 rectangles, and the first one, this is the first one, this is the new one. I use L to represent the length of the original rectangle, and W to represent the width of the original rectangle. And I use L prime to represent the length of the new rectangle, and the W prime to represent the width of the new rectangle. So the area of the original rectangle is L times W, and the new area of the rectangle is L prime W prime. Okay, continue. The question side, the new rectangle length increase by 10%. So L prime should be equal to L times 1 plus 10%, which is 1.1 L. So this is the new length. Continue. And the width decreased by p%. So W prime should be equal to W times 1 minus p%. So this is the new width. And from the question, we know the new rectangle area is decreased by 12%. So new area, which is L prime W prime, should be equal to original area times 1 minus 12%. And we also know the new length is 1.1 L and the new width is W times 1 minus p%. So the new area, we can use 1.1 L times W 1 minus p% to represent. And from the given information, these two equations should be equal to each other. So next, we just need to solve the equation and find the value of p. So after we simplify this equation, the left side of the equation is LW times 0.88, and the right side of the equation is LW times 1.1 times 1 minus p%. We can cancel out LW, then we get 0.88 equals 1.1 times 1 minus p%. So 1 minus p% should be equal to 0.88 divided by 1.1, which is 0.8. So p% should be equal to 1 minus 0.8, which is 0.2. So p should be equal to 20. So question 27, we should choose option C. Question 29. The incomplete table above summarizes the number of left-handed students and right-handed students by gender for the 18th grade students at Castle Middle School. There are 5 times as many right-handed female students as there are left-handed female students. And there are 9 times as many right-handed male students as there are left-handed male students. If there is a total of 18 left-handed students and 122 right-handed students in the school, which of the following is closest to the probability that a right-handed student selected at random is a female? So from this sentence, we know there are 5 times as many right-handed female students as there are left-handed female students. So if we use X to represent the female left-handed students, 5X should be equal to the number of right-handed female students. Continue. The question said there are 9 times as many right-handed male students as there are left-handed male students. Similarly, if we use Y to represent the left-handed male students, then the number of right-handed male students should be equal to 9Y. Continue. The question said there is a total of 18 left-handed students. So X plus Y should be equal to 18. And 122 right-handed students in the school. So 5X plus 9Y should be equal to 122. Now we have 2 equations. The next step, we just need to solve this system of linear equations. We multiply the first equation by 5. We get 5x plus 5y equals 18 times 5, which is 90. We call this third equation. And we subtract the third equation from the second equation. So 5x minus 5x is 0. 9y minus 5y is 4y. So left side of the equation is 4y, and the right side should be equal to 122 minus 19, which is 32. So y equals 8. From the first equation, x plus y equals 18. We know x should be equal to 10. Continue. What is the question? The question is, which is the following is closest to the probability that a right-handed student selected at random is male? So we know the formula of probability is equal to the number of favorable outcomes divided by the number of all outcomes. In our question, because this student is selected from right-handed group, so the number of all outcomes should be equal to 122. And the number of right-handed female students is 50. So the probability should be equal to 50 divided by 122. It's about 0.410. So we should choose option A. Question 30. 3x plus b equals 5x minus 7. 3y plus c equals 5y minus 7. We call the first one as the first equation, the second one called the second equation. Continue. In the equations above, b and c are constants. If b is c minus 1/2, if we translate this sentence into an equation, we can have b equals c minus 1/2. Then we rearrange this equation. We can have b minus c equals negative 1/2. Continue. Which of the following is true? So now we know b minus c is equal to negative 1/2. And we should be able to recognize that if we subtract 2 from 1, we can have b minus c. So we try. We subtract 2 from the first equation. We get left side 3x minus 3y plus b minus c. And the right side is 5x minus 5y. Continue. We rearrange this equation again. So we move 3x and minus 3y, this quantity, to the left and flip the sign. We get b minus c equals 5x minus 5y minus 3x plus 3y. Then we simplify the right side. We get 2x minus 2y, and we factor 2 out of the expression. We get 2 times in parentheses x minus y, and the left side is b minus c. So x minus y should be equal to 1/2 of the quantity b minus c. And from the first step, we already know b minus c is equal to negative 1/2. So we substitute negative 1/2 for b minus c. We get x minus y equals 1/2 times negative 1/2, which is negative 1/4. So x minus y equals negative 1/4. We arrange this equation, then we can have x equals y minus negative 1/4. So we should choose option A. X is y minus 1/4. Question 31. Tickets for school talent show cost $2 for students and $3 for adults. If Chris spent at least $11 but no more than $14 on X students tickets and one idle ticket, what is one possible value of X? The question side, there are X students and one adult. So from the question, we know the total cost should be equal to 2x plus 3. $2 for one student, X student, should be 2x plus $3 for one adult. So the total cost is 2x plus 3. And the question also said the cost is at least $11 and no more than $14, which means the total cost 2x plus 3 lies between 11 and 14. The next step, we just need to solve this compound inequality. So 2x is less than or equal to 11 and greater than or equal to 8. Then x should be less than or equal to 5.5 and greater than or equal to 4. So that is the range of x. The question is, what is one possible value of x? So any x lies between 4 and 5.5 is our answer. So we can see 4 is our answer and 5 is our answer. Continue. Question 33. Negative 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 in parentheses x squared minus 2x minus 1 close parentheses. If the expression above is rewritten in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, c are constants, what is the value of b? So first, let's rewrite the expression in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So negative 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 minus 2x squared plus 4x and plus 2. Then combine the like terms, negative 5x squared plus 5x plus 0. So a, which represents the coefficient of x squared, is equal to negative 5, and b, which represents the coefficient of x, is 9, and c equals 0. So the value of b is 9. Question 32. Ages of the first 12 United States presidents at the beginning of their terms in office. The table above lists the ages of the first 12 United States presidents when they began their terms in office. According to the table, what was the mean age in years of these presidents at the beginning of their terms? Round your answer to the nearest tens. The formula of mean is equal to the sum divided by the number of values in the set. So the sum of that 12 United States president is 703, and the number of values in the set is 12. So we use 703 divided by 12, we get 58.583. And round your answer to the nearest tens, we get 58.58. Question 34. In a circle with center O, central angle AOB has a measure of 5 pi over 4 radians. I graphed the circle above. The area of the sector formed by central angle AOB, what fraction of the area of the circle? So this is the area of the sector formed by the central angle AOB. Now we just need to find the fraction of the area of the circle. So fraction equals the area of the sector AOB over the area of the circle. And the area of a sector formula is 1/2 times SAT in radius times r squared. And the formula of a circle is pi r squared. We can divide out r squared. Then we have 1/2 SAT divided by pi. And from the given information, we know the central angle AOB is 5 pi over 4. So we substitute 5 pi over 4 for SAT. We get the fraction is 5 over 8. Question 35. An online store receives customer satisfaction ratings between 0 and 100 inclusive. In the first 10 ratings, the store received the average of the ratings was 75. What is the least value the store can receive for the 11th rating and still be able to have an average of at least 85 for the first 20 ratings? From the first sentence, we know the rating is between 0 and 100. And from second sentence, we know the first 10 ratings, the average is 75, which means the sum of the first 10 ratings is 75 times the number of values in the set, which is 10. So the sum is 750. Continue. What is the least value the store can receive for the 11th ratings and still be able to have an average of at least 85 for the first 20 ratings? So from the last sentence, we know the sum of the 20 ratings should be equal to the mean times 20. So the mean is 85 times 20 is 1,700. And the least value of the 11th number only will happen when the number from 12s to the number of 20s, they are all 100. Only in that case, the 11th number can have the least value. So from 12 to 20, they are all 100. So the sum of these 9 numbers is 9 times 100, which is 900. So from the illustration, we can tell the first 10 numbers, the sum is 750. And the last 9 numbers, the sum is 900. So we can have our equation 750, the first 10, plus x. We use x to represent the value of the 11th number, plus the last 9 numbers. The sum is 900, should be equal to the total number of all 20 ratings, which is 700. Then we solve this equation, x equals 50. The first equation, y is less than or equal to negative 15x plus 3000. And the second equation, y is less than or equal to 5x. In the xy plane, if a point with coordinates a and b lies in the solution set of the system of inequalities about what is the maximum possible value of B. So first we need to find the feasible region defined by those two inequalities. We begin with the first inequality. Y is less than or equal to negative 15x plus 3000. The boundary line of the first inequality is y equals negative 15x plus 3000. I graph the line on the xy plane. So this blue line represents the boundary line y equals negative 15x plus 3000. And as we know, this line divided the xy plane into two halves, and one half represent y is less than or equal to negative 15x plus 3000, and the other half represent y is greater than negative 15x plus 3000. We need to identify which half represent y is less than or equal to negative 15x plus 3000. The normal way to do it is select a point not on the borderline and test it. So we choose 0, 0, the origin. After we input 0, 0 into the inequality, we get 0 less than 0 plus 3000, which means 0 is less than or equal to 3000. So this is a true statement. So if this point can make the inequality a true statement, then we just need to shade the area include that point we selected, which is 0 and 0. So I shaded it in red. So it's this half. So the red area is the half we need. Continue the second inequality. Y is less than or equal to 55x. So the boundary line is 5x. So this is y1. This is y1. This is y2. So y2 represents the boundary line y equals 5x. We still need to choose a point to test it. We need to choose a point not on the boundary line, so we can't choose the origin. Normally, the origin is a good choice. So, but in this case, we need to choose a point not on the line. So we choose 1 and 1. After we input 1 and 1 into the inequality, we get 1 is less than or equal to negative. Oh, sorry, this is wrong. So is 1 is less than or equal to 5 times 1, which is 5. So this is still a true statement. So we should shade it. We should shade the area include 1 and 1. So I use blue color to shade it. So this blue area is our needs. Then we should check the overlapping area. I use yellow color to shade it. So that means the yellow area is the feasible region defined by that two inequalities. Now the question is, what is the maximum possible value of B? We need to choose a point whose y coordinates is the maximum value. So obviously this vertex is our point. So next step, we need to find the intercept of or intersection of that two boundary lines. So y equals negative 15x plus 300. And y equals 5x. We need to solve this system of equations. So 5x equals negative 515x plus 300. So 20x equals 3,000. So x should be equal to 150. 150. So 150 is the value of x coordinate. We need to find the y coordinate, which is 5 times 150. It is 750. So 750 is the maximum possible value of b. Question 37 and 38 refer to the following information. If shoppers enter a store at an average rate of R shoppers per minute and each stays in the store for an average time of 10 minutes, the average number of shoppers in the store N at any one time is given by the formula N equals R times T. This relationship is known as Little's law. The owner of the good deal store estimates that during business hours, an average of 3 shoppers per minute enter the store and that each of them stays an average of 15 minutes. The store owners uses Little's law to estimate that there are 45 shoppers in the store at any time. Question 37. Little's law can be applied to any part of the store, such as a particular department or the checkout lines. The store owner determines that during business hours, approximately 84 shoppers per hour make a purchase, and each of these shoppers spend an average of 5 minutes in the checkout line. At any time during business hours, about how many shoppers on average are waiting in the checkout line to make a purchase at a good deal store. From the formula given by the question, N equals R times T. The R in 37 question is 84 shoppers per hour. We should notice that the units are different. The unit of the time defined by the formula N equals RT is in minutes. So we should convert hour into minutes first. So the rate is 84 shoppers per hour. If we convert it into per minute, R should be equal to 84 divided by 60 shopper per minute. Now we have the rate, we have the time. The time is an average of 5 minutes. Then we can use the formula N equals R times T to find the value of N. So 84 divided by 6 is the R, T is 5 minutes. So N should be equal to 7. Question 38. The owner of the good deal store opens a new store across town. For the new store, the owner estimates that during business hours, an average of 90 shoppers per hour enter the store, and each of them stays an average of 12 minutes. So here the rate is 90 shoppers per hour, with the unit of time is the hour, which means we still need to convert the hour into minutes. So the rate is 90 divided by 60, which is 1.5 shoppers per minute. Continue. Each of them stays an average of 12 minutes. So T in the 38 question is 12 minutes. According to the formula N equals RT, we can have 1.5 times 12, which is 18. Continue. The average number of shoppers in a new store at any time is what percent less than the average number of shoppers in the original store. And from the description, we know the original store n equals 45, and the rate is 3 stoppers per minute, and the average time is 15. So 3 times 15 is 45. Continue. This question 38, and require us to find the percent of change. So the change is 45 minus 18. 45 is the original store and 18 is the new store. And divided by the original store times 100% is the rate, is the percent of change. So after do the calculation, the percent of change equals 60%. We should enter 60 according to the note.